Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Lu Sheng walked up quickly, grabbed Dong Qingshua's hand, and said apologetically, I wanted to tell you for a long time, but I haven't had the right opportunity, and I'm afraid you won't believe it. Dong Qingxue was in a trance, and she didn't know if she heard it. Lu Sheng could only hold her, greeted the three masters in front of him, and said casually, go in. Yes. The three masters respectfully responded and straightened up. Dongqing's waist was straight, his face was red, and he caught sight of Lu Sheng tightly grasping Dong Qingshua's hand. I just feel like drinking the nectar juice and jade liquid, and I can't tell the comfort of the whole body. The whole person seems to be 30 years younger in an instant, walking like flying, like stepping on clouds. The heads of the two patriarchs of King Qin were full of indescribable envy, their eyes flickered, and the faces of women of their own descendants quickly flashed through their minds, wondering if they would have the opportunity to climb the high branches of the sky. Wait for the group to enter the courtyard completely. The crowd at the door broke out with a loud bang. This is the current military god? The world's first martial artist? My god, I'm so young. The one beside him should be the daughter of the owner. Hiss, the owner is going to flourish now. The owner's daughter hasn't grown into an immortal. If she can be seen by the military god, I may not. Get out of the way, the old lady is going in. A word to wake up the dreamer, and the ladies and daughters in the field came back to their senses and rushed to the other courtyard. One looks like a tiger and a leopard coming out of the cage, whereas they're a little bit of a reserved and noble attitude on weekdays. Some people who looked ugly also squeezed in, and others were puzzled, but she had a good reason. How do you know if you don't try it? What if the god of war is just like me? It's hard to tell the taste of the top big man. After a brief commotion at the entrance of the other courtyard, it soon returned to calm, and almost all of the people who walked away entered the other courtyard. Only Qin Shaojun, Qin Shaoyang and others were left, and the previous Wang Yao. Qin Shaojun was stunned for a long time, and finally recovered from the unprecedented shock. He was so excited that he laughed wildly. After laughing, he was so excited that he almost flew up. You kid. Qin Shaoyang looked envious, and after thinking for a long time, he could only say a few words. It's good luck to beat the mother's womb. Ha! Ha! Qin Shaojun laughed, patted Qin Shaoyang's shoulder, and said carelessly, don't worry, brother, I will cover you in the future. Then he walked up to Wang Yao and said in a serious tone, Wang Yao, I apologize for the disdain I have always looked down on you. Dare to grab a woman with Wu Sheng, but also want to beat Wu Sheng. Really cow. Qin Shaojun gave Wang Yao a thumbs up. He is simply the most talented man in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Wang Yao's face was as pale as earth, like a goat epilepsy, and his whole body began to tremble. Stone novel. He turned around suddenly, trying to find some of his backers. But only saw an empty area. Qin Shaojun slowly opened his mouth behind him and said, don't look for it, your senior brothers have already run away. I advise you, don't go to the Eagle Country in the future, otherwise your Rose Martial Saint Master might carve a rose on your butt with his own hands, and then kick you back. Wang Yao stood there dumbfounded, and for a while, the whole person lost his soul. Question, in the future, my father-in-law will be an 8th level martial arts master. My family background and other aspects are very ordinary. I have no money and no power. How can I make my father-in-law agree to marry my daughter with both hands and feet? Thank you. Answer, become a martial saint. Dong Qingxue came up from the stern, handed a bottle of water to Lu Sheng, and asked curiously, what are you looking at? Lu Sheng quickly put away his mobile phone, took the water glass that Dong Qingxue handed over, and shook his head with a smile, it's nothing. At this time, it has been the 3rd day since Lu Sheng came out of the owner. He and Dong Qingxue are now above the Ninghai Sea area. The two were on a small yacht, and there was no one on board except them. I haven't felt so relaxed in a long time. Lu Sheng stood up with the water glass in his hand, and stretched his body fiercely against the blue sea. The sea breeze blew across his face, bringing a refreshing and comfortable feeling. Whenever, you can bring your parents over to play together. Do you need me to send someone to pick them up now? Dong Qingxue said and went to find her mobile phone. Lu Sheng shook his head, looked at the boundless sea in the distance, and said, "Next time, I don't have much time now." With that said, Lu Sheng's heart moved, and the unmanned yacht stopped by itself and floated in the center of the sea. Lu Sheng stretched out his hand, and a large black travel bag in the cabin flew into his hand. "Just here." Lu Sheng stepped on the fence on the edge of the yacht and said to Dongqing's, "The same position, I will come out every 7 days from now on." Dong Qingxue nodded, her expression flickered, she suddenly stepped forward, hugged Lu Sheng's neck lightly, and pecked his lips. "Be careful." Looking at Dong Qingxue's beautiful eyes and snorting so close, Lu Sheng also kissed her on the lips. Then turned around, jumped, and fell into the sea. It was not until the last wave on the sea level disappeared that Dong Qingxue slowly retracted her gaze. The whole person returned to the original indifferent state, wrote down the coordinates, and then drove the yacht away alone. Under the sea level, Lu Sheng's body kept falling down, falling. 10,000 meters. 20,000 meters. Bottom out. On the Blue Star, the deepest seabed is only 10,000 to 20,000 meters. The Haiyuan, which is more than 20,000 meters long, only exists in the Haiyuan cave. This time, Lu Sheng's deep and shallow seabed is for retreating and practicing, and naturally he will not go to the burrow again. The people in the military have been instructed to strengthen the monitoring and detection of the major burrows, and I don't know if they can find clues to the world-annihilating crisis. Lu Sheng has been worried ever since he learned from the dream space that the world annihilation crisis was coming. Under the seemingly light-hearted look, there is always a huge stone in my heart. But there are still 8 full years before the crisis really arrives, and there is not much he can do at this stage. In other words, even if he really finds the source of the crisis, he may not be able to do anything. Soldiers will block, water will cover. As long as the strength is strong enough, no matter what kind of crisis, I can calmly resolve it. Lu Sheng fixed his eyes for a moment, then sat down with his knees crossed at the bottom of the 20,000-meter sea abyss. The black travel bag he carried with him had long since been torn apart by the terrifying sea pressure, revealing the diamond-like energy crystals inside. Lu Sheng picked up a thumb-sized energy crystal and threw it into his mouth. The powerful stomach wall muscles easily crush the energy crystal, and unimaginable surging energy emerges from it. Inside the martial body, the mysterious vein diagram glowed slightly. The 279th immortal cell is being rapidly formed. Before the so-called leader arrives, you must refine your martial body, mental strength, and will to the martial arts to the extreme. Then, with the pressure of the 10th level leader, he rushed into the 9th level martial arts realm in one fell swoop. Lu Sheng's eyes were shining brightly, with golden flowing in his pupils, which were as striking as 2 bright searchlights at the bottom of the pitch-black abyss. At the bottom of the abyss, there were huge and ugly monster fish that were attracted. But before he got close, Lu Sheng closed his eyes, and the golden light disappeared immediately. Lu Sheng swallowed and absorbed the energy crystals one by one. The number of immortal cells in the body is also increasing day by day. Although Sejong's first battle did not achieve his most desired goal, it also gave him complete control over the power of the 278 immortal cells. Now to improve it, it is a matter of course, without the slightest vein instability. Lu Sheng came out from the bottom of the sea every 7 days to meet with Dong Qingxue, and also contacted his family and the military by the way. During this period, Lu Sheng's strength improved by leaps and bounds, as if returning to the days when he was dormant on the Golden Circle Island. The stars in his body are getting bigger and bigger, and they are constantly approaching the true 8th level limit. In the process of soaring strength, Lu Sheng is also thinking about a question. His martial arts brand, his martial arts. What is it supposed to look like? Time is like running water, 3 months have passed in a hurry. Lion Country, an endless golden desert. Before the first year of martial arts, this place was called Death God's Domain, with a total area of more than 20 million square kilometers, and it was a forbidden area for life that no one could cross. After the rise of martial arts, many people come here every year. Try to conquer this vast and boundless desert with the flesh, so as to achieve the effect of quenching the physique and the will of martial arts. At this time, a 30-year-old youth from the Lion Country with a backpack was pouring a bottle of mineral water into his mouth. His body was covered in gray dust, his face was sunburned in many places, and his lips were chapped. The state of the whole person does not look good. Worst of all, the last bottle of water he brought with him had already been drunk. Standing in the desert holding the bottle and pouring it into my mouth for a long time, instead of tasting the sweetness of the water, I ate a mouthful of sand. Annoyed, the young man smashed the water bottle on the ground. Looking up at the endless desert in front of him, there is a hint of regret on his face. No, I can go out. The young man shook his head, gritted his teeth and continued forward. He struggled, and the scorching heat and raging sand took away too much energy and moisture from him. He is approaching the limit, and he is constantly insisting on a will to survive. The young man walked slower and slower, and the extreme lack of water made his spirit trance. He kept murmuring in his mouth, "Water, I want water, give me water." When the body and spirit were close to collapse, hallucinations began to appear in front of the young man. He saw a lush green oasis with clear springs flowing. See the modern metropolis full of traffic. See the feasting night bar. The most outrageous. He even saw a dark blue aircraft with smooth lines and a beautiful shape that was more than half the size of a football field. Full of ultramodern technological beauty, anyone who sees the first reaction will think of the cosmic starry sky, the vast galaxy. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't be here if I was killed. Everyone has to pay for their own stupidity. The young man recalled the words his father once said to him, and the mirage of the dark blue flying machine was reflected in the gray eyes, and he fell peacefully in despair. It was soon covered by the wind and sand. Unfortunately, what the young man didn't know was that what he saw, which he thought was a mirage, was actually something that really existed. More than a dozen men and women stood in the desert. Their feet are suspended on the ground, and each of them has an extraordinary temperament, an unparalleled powerful aura, and is the number one figure among all countries and forces. Especially the leader, a middle-aged silver-haired man with a natural leadership temperament. Silver-haired Wu St. Cumberland. There are also 13 ninth-level martial arts experts from the World Martial Arts Association and the Western Martial Arts Alliance. At this time, all gathered in this uninhabited desert. He looked solemn, as if welcoming something. Soon, the dark blue aircraft slowly fell, and finally hovered at an altitude of tens of meters above the ground. During this period, there was no sound and no inertial amplitude. The laws of gravity on this planet seemed to have no effect on it. A crack appeared at the bottom of the dark blue aircraft, and inking white light was projected from it. In the light, a figure slowly appeared. This is a young man who is more than 2 meters tall. He has splendid dark blonde hair, handsome features, and lavender eyes. He was wearing a solid black one-piece battle suit. I don't know what material it is, it wraps his almost perfect body, and it shimmers dimly in the sun. The man's eyes are extremely deep, reminiscent of the aurora in the north, and the starry sky on a summer evening. When this man appeared, Cumberland and the others immediately showed deep awe and reverence from their hearts. Chi put his right hand on his left shoulder and saluted him. "Welcome to the leader." The dark blonde long-haired man had a gentle expression, nodded slightly to Cumberland and the others, and said with a smile, "Everyone, long time no see." After a brief greeting, the desert beneath Cumberland and the others suddenly collapsed, and a huge hole appeared, swallowing tens of thousands of tons of sand. After the sand with a radius of more than 10 kilometers was completely engulfed, fresh air emanated from the bottom. "Lord Leader, please." Cumberland and the others made a gesture of respect, the latter nodded slightly, and walked in calmly. The others followed, and the dark blue spacecraft in the sky slowly landed in. Then, the hole was closed and the surrounding sand was filled again. In less than 10 minutes, the desert returned to peace. Under the desert. It's a whole other world here. All kinds of trees and flowers are lush, birds, beasts, insects and fish. There are very few duplicates, all of which are transplanted from all over the world. Walking through this virgin jungle along a white plank road, you will be greeted by a modern space with a minimalist style. There are beautiful girls walking fast on the floor with bare feet, holding a variety of delicious wines and delicacies in their hands, and they continue to bring them up. In just a while, there are no less than thousands of kinds of unique dishes from all over the world. The dark blonde long-haired man sat down at the long gourmet table, picked up a piece of green melon, put it in his mouth and chewed it slowly, making a crisp sound. Trouble everyone has a heart, the man said with a hint of satisfaction and enjoyment on his face. Cumberland and others also showed smiles on their faces. The guide comes to the Blue Star once every 10 years, and in addition to collecting resources, it will also stay for a short period of time. Equivalent to relaxation, vacation. During this period, if they accompany the guide, they may get the guide's guidance on the martial arts. Many people have received guidance from their guides. Although the leader is from the starry sky and from the advanced martial arts civilization, he doesn't have much aloof and domineering aura. On the contrary, his personality is quite gentle and easy to talk. The dark blonde long-haired man sat in the huge space like this, slowly tasting the food and wine in front of him. Occasionally talked to Cumberland and others. Oh right, what you exchanged last time. The dark blonde long-haired man ate a very tender steak, drank the red wine beside him, and wiped his mouth with a tissue. He didn't see how the dark blonde long-haired man moved, he just raised his hand casually. In front of Cumberland and the others, silver-gray boxes of different sizes appeared, each marked with the name of the contents. There was a bit of joy in the eyes of Cumberland and other 9th-level martial saints. Cumberland respectfully saluted the man and thanked him. "Thank you, sir." "Cumberland, it's useless to say thank you. You should take real action." The man ate the food on the table in an orderly manner and said with a smile, "What about the energy crystals this time? You should take them out quickly, don't make me rush them every time." The man said the words, and the eyes of the 9th-level martial sages such as Cumberland immediately shrank and avoided. The man noticed that something was wrong, his hands stopped moving, and the smile on his face faded little by little. As the man's demeanor changed, the space quickly became depressing. The air seemed to have turned into glue, and even Cumberland and others had a feeling of difficulty breathing. "Don't tell me, the energy crystal this time, no." The dark blonde long-haired man put down the tableware in his hand and said calmly. But this calm seems to contain a terrible storm.